Hi everyone, welcome to my first cook along video. It would be live, but I have a 3-year-old toddler. So if I was to do this live at 2 o'clock, then it would mean that he would be running around and wanting my attention. So I thought it was easier for me to pre-make the video and show it to you and give you a chance to be able to get the ingredients as well. So we're going to be making cheese scones today, which is really easy and really adaptable. So you can adapt the ingredients. They don't have to be cheese. You could use different types of cheese. You can add paprika, chili powder, you can add garlic, caramelised onion in there as well. It's completely up to you. So to get started, we need to make sure that we wash our hands. It's really important at the moment that you wash your hands regularly. And it's also really, really important that you wipe your sides down. So just a couple of sprays of antibacterial spray will do, and wipe your sides down to make sure that there's no germs or bacteria there from previous cooking. So, to start off with, I've got a bowl and a sieve and my self-raising flour. So into the bowl, you're going to sieve your self-raising flour. So this traps air and causes aeration, which will mean that the scones will lift up when they're baking and they'll be nice and light. So what we want is we want really nice, well-risen golden scones at the end. Then, what you're going to add is you're going to add in 55 grams of butter. So butter or spread, it doesn't matter. I tend to like I like using spread or margarine because it's got a higher water and oil content to it, which means that the water in the oil that's in it turns to steam in cooking, which helps it rise up more. Then to that, I'm going to add about a teaspoon's worth of salt to add flavour. And then you've got the option, if you want to, of adding in mustard powder, if you want, a teaspoon of chili powder or a teaspoon of paprika, if you wish. I'm going to leave them plain, but you can do that. Then what you're going to do is you're going to add in a teaspoon of baking powder. So baking powder is a raising agent. We need to do a level teaspoon, which is really important. So baking powder is a raising agent and it causes carbon dioxide bubbles to form in the mixture while it's cooking, which rises it up. So what I've got here is I've got my cheese. I've done extra so I can sprinkle some on top. So you need 120 grams of cheese and 100 ml of milk. Full fat milk preferably because it adds more flavour to it. So what you're going to do is you're going to, using a knife, so using a butter knife or a table knife, you're going to break up the butter. You can do it where you rub in the butter if you wish, but during the process of mixing it further, it will all break down anyway. Okay, now the reason why I am using a knife and not my hands is because our hands will warm up the butter, causing it to react with the flour and cause the gluten strands within the flour to start stretching, which then means that you end up with really chewy scones. So the more gluten that is produced, then the chewier the scones. The less we handle the mixture, the lighter and the spongier and crumblier the scones will be, which is what we want. So once that is mixed in, I'm then going to add in my cheese. So you can choose whichever cheese you want. It can be cheddar, red Leicester, you could have Stilton if you really wanted to, Parmesan cheese. And then again, just mixing it all in, making sure that we don't use our hands, because we don't want to heat up that mixture. Then you're going to create a well in the centre and you're going to add your milk, nearly all of it, leave a little bit just in case it ends up going too soggy, which we don't want. And then at this point, it's really important to handle it as little as you can. Because like I said, the more you handle it, the longer those gluten strands get, the chewier it will be. And we really don't want that to happen. So I'm just going to add in a little bit more until it clumps together. Don't forget, you can save this video. You can go back, you can pause it. So pause it at each stage if you wish. And I've got the digital version as well for you to follow along. So what you're then going to do is bring it all together as lightly and as quickly as you can. Making sure you get all that cheese and all that flour. Okay, so as little handling as possible. We want to keep that dough cold. Some people rest the dough, so they bring it together and they rest it in the fridge so that it relaxes the gluten. So that's what resting is. But I think we'll be okay with this one. So the dough's come together. Then what you're going to do is, okay, so it's been 15 minutes and the scones are ready. So they're lovely and risen and golden. The cheese looks absolutely beautiful and they smell amazing. So they're ready to dish up. They are perfect warm, or if you can bear it, just out of the oven. They are lovely on their own. You can serve them with butter. You can have them with soup. You could fill them if you wanted to with like a cream cheese, if you preferred. So these are done. So nice, risen, golden, and ready to serve. Now I've made some others. So I did a sweet dough. So if you preferred sweet, I've done some dried fruit and I've done them in a star shape. Because like I said, younger children quite like the fact of having them in a different shape. It means that it's more appealing. So dried fruit, so 100 grams of that. Sugar in there, 2 tablespoons, and then you just mix it up with the other ingredients as well. You could do chocolate if you wanted to. Cherries are really nice in scones. There's lots of different combinations that you can do. So tune in on Monday for the next cook along.